Hi. When running financial operations, timing matters. A balance extraction completes, a processing job finishes, an approval request has been raised. Something meaningful has just happened inside Fynapse, and something else in your world needs to know about it. The traditional approach to this was polling. Your system asks Fynapse again and again, is this done yet? Has this happened? It's inefficient, it introduces lag, and it puts unnecessary load on both sides of the integration. Webhooks solve this. Instead of your system asking Fynapse for updates, Fynapse tells your system the moment something's happened. It's near real time, event-driven, and no polling required. In this series, we're going to walk through how webhooks work in Fynapse. Not just what the feature does, but what it gives to you. This is our introduction video, a setup for everything else to come, and by the end you'll understand the building blocks of the Fynapse webhook system, how to set one up, how requests are secured so you can trust every notification you receive, and exactly what happens when a delivery succeeds, or doesn't. Let's get into it. Everything in the Fynapse webhook system is built on 4 concepts. Understanding these will help make everything else click. First, we have subscriptions. And subscription is how you tell Fynapse what you want to hear about and where to send that information. You define a HTTP endpoint, which is a URL in your system, and specify which event types should be delivered there. One subscription can cover multiple event types, or you can have multiple subscriptions all pointing to different endpoints. Second are secrets. A secret is a shared key used to sign every webhook request Fynapse sends. This is how your system can verify that the request genuinely came from Fynapse and hasn't been tampered with. We'll go deeper on this later in the video. Next, we have events. An event is a record that something has happened in Fynapse. A balance extracted, for example, produces a balance extracted event. Events are the source of truth. They capture what happened, when it happened, and the data associated with it. And finally, we have deliveries. A delivery is a single attempt to send an event to your endpoint. Every time a matching event occurs, Fynapse creates a delivery, posts the request to your endpoint, and records the outcome. Deliveries are tracked, auditable, and retried if something goes wrong, which means there can be a one-to-many relationship between an event and its deliveries. To quickly recap on that, subscriptions control routing, secrets ensure trust, and events trigger deliveries. Together, these 4 concepts form the complete webhook system. Now, let's see how this comes together in Fynapse itself. We'll be doing this in the UI, but the option is available to control this with APIs if you choose. We'll start by navigating to the webhook UI screen. When here, you'll see a list of configured endpoints and have the ability to create new ones. We will start by creating a new subscription. Firstly, we'll give it a name. We'll need a URL. For this demo, I'm using a HookDeck URL as the webhook endpoint. HookDeck is a developer tool that lets you receive, inspect, and troubleshoot webhook requests, which makes it really useful for testing integrations. There are plenty of other webhook tools out there and available, so feel free to use whichever you prefer. We can give it a description if we want to. We're not going to in this case, and then select the events that you want to receive. Next, Fynapse returns a secret value. To store this securely, your receiving system will use it to validate every incoming request. And that's all there is to it. From this point on, whenever a matching event occurs in Fynapse, it will be delivered to your endpoint. Now, let's take a quick look at one I created earlier that has deliveries and events against it. This subscription is configured to send an event once an ingestion has succeeded. On the Overview tab, you'll see top-level information about the total number of events sent and the total failed, along with the performance metrics. You can also see high-level information about the subscription itself, where you're able to view the secret and rotate the secret. The Event Deliveries tab does exactly what it says on the tin. You can see a list of events and deliveries made to our subscribed endpoint. Events can be seen in the table. On the right, you can see the payload that was sent to your subscribed endpoint, and you have the delivery attempt history at the bottom. Now, let's talk about security a little more, because receiving a HTTP post from the internet and acting on it is only safe if you can verify who sent it. Every webhook request Fine-app sends includes a webhook signature header. This signature is generated using the method HMAC with the algorithm SHA-256, combining a timestamp with a raw request body and signing it with the secret you created earlier. When a request arrives at your endpoint, you should validate it before doing anything else. And to do this, you'll need to extract the timestamp and the signature from the header, reconstruct the signing input, which is the timestamp, a dot, and the raw request body, compute the HMAC signature using your secret, and finally compare the result against the signature in the header. If they match, the request is genuine. If they don't, reject it. This signature model means you can trust every validated webhook completely. It came from Fine-apps and it hasn't been modified. We have a full breakdown of this in our documentation, along with sample code on how to verify and generate your HMAC signature. Once your input is live and your subscription is active, Fine-apps will begin delivering events. Let's look at what happens during the delivery and what the outcome states mean. To start, every delivery starts in a pending state. Fine-apps sends the HTTP post to your endpoint, and if your endpoint responds with any of the 200 status codes, the delivery is marked as delivered. Successful. If it doesn't, your endpoint is down, slow to respond, or returns an error, Fine-apps retries. The retry system works in two stages. First, we have micro retries, which is up to 2 rapid attempts within the same execution cycle, with a short randomized delay. This handles any brief transient issues. If those fail, Fine-apps escalates to a queue-level retry system, up to 20 attempts over a 72-hour window using an exponential backoff. This backoff grows from around 30 seconds up to 4 hours between attempts. If your endpoint responds with certain status codes, 400, 401, 410, and others, Fine-apps treats those as non-retriable and moves the delivery immediately to dead letter. These codes signal a definitive failure, not just a temporary one. However, if you have resolved the issue, you can come into the Fine-apps UI and resend. Finally, if the subscription was inactive when the delivery was processed, it moves to cancelled. You can see all of this in the delivery audit log, every attempt, every outcome, every timestamp. This gives you full visibility into your integration's health and a clear starting point for any debugging. One important design principle for your receiver: return a 200 response as quickly as possible and process the payload asynchronously. Don't make Synapse wait while you do all the work. Acknowledge the receipt and then handle. Synapse also sends an idempotency key header with every delivery. Store these and use them to deduplicate. Because our webhooks operate on a at least once model, the same event may occasionally arrive more than once. So let's bring all of this together. Synapse webhooks give you real-time, event-driven way to integrate your systems. No lag and no polling. You've seen the 4 building blocks, the events, subscriptions, secrets, and deliveries. You know how to set up a subscription and secure it with a HMAC SHA-256 signature. You understand the delivery lifecycle, what success looks like, how retries work, and how to keep your integration reliable. This is the foundation. In the next videos in the series, we'll go deeper, starting with ingestion processing events specifically, where we'll show a live webhook payload arriving in real time and walk through exactly what your system receives and how to act on it. If you have any questions, the full webhook documentation is available at docs.synapse.app, and we'll see you on the next one.